is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. We're in the San Gabriel Valley today. We are joined by Anthony Fellow. He is a director with the Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District. Sir, the governor of the state of California recently declared that the drought is over. No doubt it was a wetter year than the past 5 or 6. I don't know if we're technically out of drought, but on the ground, are we out of drought?
Well, it's been a historic year, as you know. The rainfall has been 120% more than normal, especially for the San Gabriel Valley, and the snowpack is 164% above normal. But the problem is, in the San Gabriel Valley, we haven't been able to fill our aquifers. We need about 36 more inches of rain, if you can believe that, because people saw all this rain coming in. And the problem is this, for 5 years, we have suffered through a drought.
Right.
And our aquifers have been depleted. And so the ground is like a sponge, and it is soaked up. It is amazing how much water the ground is soaked up in, so it goes nowhere, you know?
Right.
And so...
But was it able to soak up all of it, or did we see runoff going into the ocean?
Well, you know, we do a pretty good job with runoff, and that is the big focus today is stormwater runoff.
Right.
You know, we have bills in the Assembly to capture more runoff, but we do a pretty good job, and I think my general manager would tell you we probably collect at least 80% of that water.
How?
Locally.
How?
Through various systems, through the sanitation district, through triggers. But we have to do a better job throughout the San Gabriel Valley, you know, in some cities. But
what's a little confusing to me, though, is I remember last year when we thought the big El Nino was coming and it didn't. What we were told is that even if we have this big El Nino, we need essentially 3 years of water in 1 year. This year, we don't have 3 years of water. We've done better, but we don't have 3 years worth of water. So how is it that we were hearing these dire necessities, and yet when we did a little better, you know, than an average year, oh, the drought is over?
Well, you know, the problem is it rained, but we have to collect the rain. We don't have enough reservoirs. You saw what happened up north with the reservoir that now needs some construction. And we have dams that collect about 400,000 acre feet up north that will secure water for 400,000 for 400,000 families for a year.
Okay, that's great.
But so we need constant rain. This was the Pineapple Express.
Right.
It was a miracle from God, I call it.
But what's confusing then to me is if we need constant rain and we had one better than average year, how is the drought over?
Because we don't have the facilities to collect the rain.
So then how do we call the drought over? It seems to me it's premature.
Because in San Francisco it's over. If we could take the water and the snowpack that is up north and bring it down to the San Gabriel Valley, we would be in very good shape. But it can't be done. And so the challenge is still there. You know, Tony Zampiello, who's wonderful head of Water Master in the Main Basin Water Master, and he said recently, he was asked in an interview on NPR, you know, about the drought, and he said, you know, it's been like going on a diet for 5 years in this terrible drought. And he says, you know, it's not time to eat the dessert again.
Right.
We can't. And so right now in the San Gabriel Valley, we have to continue with conservation, desert landscapes. It is not plentiful.
So let's talk about what we need to do in the future, because look, I vaguely remember the drought of the 80s, I think it was, where we were all told to conserve and, you know, if it's yellow, let it mellow or whatever it is, and all those great cliches of that era. And I don't know, did we change our behavior? Maybe a little bit, but not that much.
Well, we did. You know, we did change our behavior. When you think about that the city of Los Angeles County is using the same amount of water as it did in 1980.
And we have 1 million more people.
And these young people today are talking to their parents and teaching them how to conserve. But we have to do more. You know, thank God about 20 years ago, when I first got on the Upper District Board, we had a vision for recycled water. If we didn't have recycled water, we would be in terrible shape today with this 5-year drought. But we have to do more. And people think I'm crazy again. You know, recycled water was part of my vision because I'm thinking about desalination.
Yeah.
And we can do this.
Can we talk about desal? Because desal continues to be much loved and much reviled, depending on who you're speaking with. And look, we know in San Diego we have the Poseidon plant, which is pumping out a huge amount of desalinated water. Santa Barbara may be bringing another plant online. San Luis Obispo is looking at, I think they have a hybrid plant. Orange County, they're looking at creating some desal plants. But desal is expensive and uses a lot of energy.
It is very expensive. So we have to find ways to get that cost down. And one of the ways we can do it is by a regional approach. If the Metropolitan Water District was able to come in, and Ormond Bay is one of the examples where you could put a desalting plant and come in on a regional basis and help the whole region, I think it would be workable. West Basin, in Torrance has a plan for a desalting plant.
Right, but the folks in the South Bay, El Segundo, they are not happy.
I know.
They don't want to see it.
What are we going to do? I don't think any of us as water board directors could come to the public again and say there's another drought. I think we're beyond that. And with desalting, we can do the job.
But could desalination be part of the solution? Because I feel as if we're looking for quick fixes.
Of course.
And can we look beyond desal, more recycling? What about more above ground storage? We passed this huge water bond in 2014.
We haven't gotten a penny of it yet.
Yeah, what's going on? It's 2017.
Well, we're putting in for grants now, and that whole thing's being finalized. But I have great respect for our governor, Jerry Brown, and I think of the whole Brown family, his father was, to me, the greatest
visionary,
governor.
right.
But instead of a bullet train, do you know what we can do with that money? We could build 3 desalting plants that would make California drought-proof.
Well, the bullet train's a whole other conversation. But it does bring up a point, though, because, look, we have money available to build above-ground storage. Desal aside, and yet, I don't know, Sites, what's happening with Sites Reservoir?
That's the whole, can you imagine if Sites Reservoir was in place now and capturing the water? That is another
I can imagine, but it's only in my imagination. It's not a reality yet.
Well, we do a lot of talking in Sacramento. That's one of the problems. It's time to do something with the Bay Delta. Do you know that what's going to happen? Yeah. I've talked to you many times about this. What's going to happen when we have an earthquake in San Francisco? The salt water gets into the state water system, and we're out 60% of our water supply.
But the governor had a plan for the Bay Delta, the Bay Delta Conservation Plan. You know what happened with that? It got flushed down the toilet. Yeah. And so there's still discussions about what to do with regard to the Bay Delta, but we've been talking since Peripheral Canal of 1982.
We've got to start, we got to stop the planning and just move. There's only so many studies you can do.
Right. So how close are we? I mean, look.
I don't think we're close.
Really?
I think the governor's plan was a good one, and it may still come about. But
what about with the new Trump administration? He talks about infrastructure. Could part of the infrastructure spending be on water projects?
Yes, we just heard yesterday in the Government Affairs Committee up at San Gabriel that the Trump administration is going to be, I think he's going to be very good to us in California for water projects.
You think?
That's his big thing is everybody should have
clean
water.
Well, he said we weren't in drought, though, during the campaign. He said the drought was man-made.
He said a lot during the campaign.
So, I mean, you think he's supportive of California's efforts?
Oh, I think he will be. He has some. There's some Republican Congress people who really have his ear.
Sure.
And, I don't think he's as vindictive as people think.
Okay.
But
we'll see.
But we'll see.
His name.
There's also other things. We got to start consolidating water boards.
You'll come back. His name is Tony Fellow. He is with the Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District, a director there. I'm Brad Pomerance. It's Local Edition.